You just missed it.
What?
The cat, he was doing backflips.
Bollocks. You're talking bollocks.
Yes. So in our last video, we left you with the question, what does talking bollocks mean? Well, that was just an example of it. I just made up a whole load of stuff.
Yes. So it's a lying. You're telling an untruth. Or you could say, oh, that politician, he's always talking bollocks.
Yes.
Meaning that it's complete load of nonsense that he's talking. So there's a bit of a juxtaposition between what we said at the end of our last video, how the dogs box. You like that juxtaposition?
Long word.
Hey, I pulled a big one out there.
We were.
Oh, Mrs. Juxtaposition between the dog's bollocks, which is something good, and talking bollocks, which is something bad.
So we're now going to go through another set of British phrases that we try to use over here in the US, but garner strange looks.
Blank faces. Yeah.
So we're going to try and explain them to you in the best of our ability. So let's get going.
So the first one we're going to use in this batch of phrases is on the pull or off on the pull.
Or going on the pull.
Yes, which is to go out in search of companionship of an intimate nature.
That's a very polite way of saying.
Yes.
Yeah, going out and trying to either find a male or a female to spend extra special time with.
So in context, it would be, I'm off on the pull in town because the pubs there have more women or fellas or whatever floats your boat.
Whatever you're into.
Yeah.
And then if you are successful with that, you can say, I pulled.
Yes, I've pulled.
Used to be, in a joking way, at least I'm hoping in a joking way, that a fella would come up and approach you. Or
May I?
Okay, he'll demonstrate.
Grab your coat, love. You've pulled.
Yeah, that didn't really work.
Never worked for me, I'll tell you that.
Then or now. So that's our first one, on the pull.
All right.
Our second one is over-egg the pudding.
Yeah. I think this is more one of yours than one of mine.
Is it?
I think so. I think it's a southern thing. I don't remember.
It's kind of saying, like, you're going over the top. Like, you made your point. You're now going further than you need to.
Yeah.
Yes. Or if you're trying to flatter me into something, yes, it's already worked, but now you're going too far and you're going to make it go the other way. Yeah.
It's a bit like the phrase "gilding the lily," isn't it?
Yes.
That is it a biblical one? I don't know. Anyway, it's a bit like that one.
So just you got what you wanted. You can stop now. Don't over-egg the pudding.
Don't over-egg the pudding.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I'll do this one.
Okay.
So the next one is a sickie. So one can take a sickie, one can throw a sickie, or one can fake a sickie. And it means an unscheduled day off work or school where you've informed your employer or your administration in the school, if you're a student, that you are ill. For example, you could say, hey, are you going off to watch the test match live during the day? And you could say, yeah, phone in a sickie. Yeah,
so what we're saying is that you're not actually sick. You're just pretending.
Yes, you're faking it.
Yeah, so you're throwing a sickie or you're taking a sickie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is something that I don't know if school children say it so much, because they have other words and phrases for that from where we came from.
And
but it's more of an adult thing.
Regional variations on that as well.
Yes, there are, yes.
So
yeah, I guess
we would say wagging it, and you would say...
Well, we'd say wagging it, but when I first started teaching up north, somebody said whacking it. And I thought that was something rude.
Yeah.
But we'll
I'm familiar with. Anyway.
So taking the sickie is you've just kind of phoned in sick when you haven't really been sick. This is one we get asked about quite a lot, actually, don't we?
Yes. Over here, yeah.
Yes, and one of our viewers, thank you very much, actually asked this question as well. So we thought we'd add it in this episode.
Yep. And that's Bob's your uncle.
Which can be also followed by...
Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
And really, it just means, and there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, maybe I am, for example, showing you how to bake some bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you put all the ingredients together, and you knead it, and you knead it, and then you stick it in the oven, and there you go,
Hmm.
bread. Yeah. Bob's
Bob's
your
your uncle.
uncle. You got some bread.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds weird. I actually have used it in the past, but I never had an uncle called Bob, so that's not actually necessary for the
But
phrase.
I do have an uncle called Bob, but my his wife isn't called Fanny, she's called Kath.
No.
So there you go.
Okay, moving on to a phrase that can mean a couple of things, can't it? It
And this
can.
contains mild swear words
Oh
as
yes,
well.
little
So
disclaimer there.
disclaimer.
So this can be probably the most obvious way of using this is literally like if I fell over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I just
Which has been
has
known.
been known. So maybe I fell down a couple of steps or
Yeah.
something like that. And we all had a bit of a laugh over it. And then I'm telling somebody about it later on, and I would say, "Yeah, I went completely arse over tit."
Or you can say arse over elbow as well, and it means exactly the same thing. Things ended up upside down or a mess. And it's usually relating to an accident, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've been ice skating, and did you fall over? Yeah, I went completely arse over tit.
Mm.
Yeah, something like that.
One I've never heard used in the US to describe something when something's gone wrong is one that we frequently use in the UK, and that's a balls up, meaning something's messed up.
Yeah, like here we have had a previous take where we thought we had gone through things beautifully, but
Yeah.
actually at the end we ballsed it all up.
Yep.
So we
Can
have to
do that.
redo it again.
Yeah. And you know what? You know what that'd be?
Yeah.
This is what we call a link. You know what that'd be? That would be
Sod's law.
yes, indeed.
Now there is a variation of this, which is Murphy's law.
Yeah, I think that's the American version of it is Murphy's law.
Yes.
Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yes. So Murphy's law is something that I knew a lot about because we used to have a poster with all of the Murphys. A poster. I'll go over here. A poster on the back door of our water closet, our loo,
Oh, right, okay.
because we had a separate loo from the bathroom. And my mum put a poster up there, while you're in there, do a bit of reading. And it had all these different variations of Murphy's Law. Like, for example, beauty's only skin deep, ugly goes to the bone, things like that. It was just interesting.
Isn't the toast folding toast always lands butter
Both
side
side
down
down,
part of
yes.
Murphy's law?
Or
Yeah.
another one, anything good in life is either illegal, immoral, or fattening.
Is that Murphy's law?
That was on the poster. That's what
Anyway,
I'm saying. It was on the poster. Anyway, so yeah, Sod's Law would be the Brit equivalent, I suppose.
yes, it probably comes from the phrase "unlucky sod" as well, which is
Yeah.
we won't go into the context of it,
Well,
but let's just
sod is not over in the US. Sod is what they call turf,
yeah,
like a bit of grass. But sod is kind of like a person, a generic person.
yeah. Well, let's not go into where it comes from, shall we?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will talk about.
Well,
That's slightly rude words, but we
yeah.
will mention them later on. So this is one where, again, I think there's a variation equivalent
Yes,
over
and
here, isn't
there is
there?
it is translatable. This one, isn't it?
Yes.
So we would say if there's an incident or an accident, something's broken or events have caused something to be derailed,
Right.
we'd say, "Oh no, there's a spanner in the works."
Yes.
But here they'd say,
A wrench.
"Yeah,
A wrench in the works, because that's the same
yeah,
tool. They're just
use a
different
different
words for the
term."
same tool, but it
Yeah,
means the same thing. Like we had something perfectly planned, like we were going to go, to the movies and then
the car
out
broke
for
down.
some dinner, but
Yeah,
then the car broke down through a spanner in the works.
yeah,
Things like that. This is one that is something I hadn't heard of until I moved to the UK as a child,
yeah,
because and probably a bit older now. I wouldn't think many people of a younger
yeah.
generation
I
would use
think
this term.
people probably of our parents' generation and older would use this. I've not heard people my age use it.
Hmm.
And that's a euphemism for visiting the bathroom or the loo, spending a penny. I'm just off to spend a penny. And it stems from a time when to use a public toilet, you had to pay an old pre-decimal penny in
Yeah.
the slot to open the door to go in and use the toilet.
Yeah, so you literally, I mean, now it's not even a penny. I wouldn't think you'd get anywhere on a penny, would you?
I wouldn't
In the
think
public
so.
toilet,
No,
I think
no.
they're about a
I've
pound
never.
now.
Well, those ones that you see on the street, the Superloos.
Yeah,
I've never had the gumption to go in one
my
of
mum
those.
went had to go into one of those.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was a pound, and that's going back into like the 2010s.
yeah. But it's
So
that idea of the floor tipping and the jets of hot scalding water. It just puts me off.
she just had to go.
Yeah.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Hey,
Sometimes you gotta
when you gotta
go.
go.
So our next phrase is something that it's kind of hard to describe in some respects, isn't it?
Hmm.
Because of the fact that there's a word in there that is lost in translation as well,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
So, say for example, and it could be in a good way and a bad way, can't it? So, say I'm at school and I just finished a load of grading, and then this group of kids show up and they just said, "Oh, sorry, we're turning in this late. Sorry about that." And I would just go, "Well, that just takes the biscuit, doesn't it?"
Yeah. It's like something that comes in at the last moment that's annoying, or
It's a surprise.
it's
It's
a
something you haven't
surprise,
planned
but it's
for.
not usually a nice surprise, is it? It's usually
Yeah,
a negative connotation to it.
I would say mostly a negative connotation.
Yeah.
Or even if somebody is being, as we said in one of our previous videos, if somebody's being overly cheeky and
Mm.
asking for too much, you might also reference that they're trying to take the biscuit.
Now, I'm not sure because it's just started nagging in the back of my mind. Does that the American phrase might be that takes the cake?
I don't know.
I
Let
think
us
so. Let
know.
us know
Is that a phrase or did he just make that
because
up?
I think that's the same means the same thing.
Take the cake.
Take the cake.
Let us know.
Yeah, because obviously the biscuit doesn't translate.
No. So when we talk about
Yeah,
biscuits, as we do, if you've watched our videos, we mention biscuits quite a lot.
with a cup of tea, of
We
course.
are talking about, I guess, a cookie would
Mm.
be the American version
Yeah.
rather than the sort of doughy thing that you get at breakfast, lunch, or dinner over here, it seems.
Mm.
That's not the biscuit we're talking about. And we're not even just taking like a biscuit as in you pinched a biscuit. It's an actual phrase that means something else, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is one that I was trying to explain actually to my students the other day because I was doing it to them. And that is winding them up.
Yeah. I think this is mainly down to the differences in senses of humour. In the UK, we're a lot more sarcastic. We have more irony, I think, than the majority of people here. They seem to
Yeah,
take things quite literally when you say them here, so it's
yeah.
difficult to do a wind up, isn't it?
And I think I was trying to explain it by saying, "Have you ever like stirred the pot?" And they didn't understand that one
Mm.
either. So I was worried that I was just confusing them really. But
Yeah,
the idea between winding somebody up is just kind of, pushing their buttons. Maybe is kind of a way of saying it.
yeah, I would say so. You probably saying something or do something to irritate them,
Yeah, it's trying to get them more riled up.
and doing it deliberately rather than just doing it by accident, putting thought into it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's wonder, and then if at the end like they're getting all raged, not crazy rage, but getting a bit angry, then everybody starts laughing because it was just a wind up.
yeah,
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 they were just winding you up.
yeah.
And then I guess as a little addendum
Hmm.
to that, if you are the person who is trying to wind somebody up, you are known as a wind up merchant. Yeah,
Someone who perpetrates wind ups.
yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes we actually do that, don't you?
Mm.
Like when you're winding, like if they're in a range and you can just see somebody's doing this, you
Yes,
know it's a
but that
wind
has
up.
other connotations of a word we cannot use. We'll leave that for another
I don't
time.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Similar to wind up is another phrase which contains a mild swear word, and that's taking the piss. Um, Taking the piss can range from a playful mockery to somebody going too far.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it could be that somebody is just, making fun of you.
Mm.
Um, I guess taking the mickey is a similar way, in that mild way of saying taking the piss. So it's something that we may think quite a lot, not maybe blurt out so much. But it's there are times when we walk through the corridors at school and some of our students are trying to do a British accent, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we want to shout out, "Are you trying to take the piss?" Yeah.
Yes.
But we wouldn't do that because they don't know what we're saying.
No, we wouldn't do that. We'd just glare at them instead with a teacher glare.
The teacher glare. So taking the piss is kind of just like you're going too far and you need to wind it back in again, mate. Yeah. Don't know if you understood that, but you know what I mean. Yes.
Which leads us to fannying around or fannying about.
Yes. So this one I think is our last one for this episode.
Yes.
To fanny about or to fanny around is kind of just
you're wasting time.
Yeah, you're wasting time.
Finding things to do instead of doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing.
Or even like you're taking longer than you should.
Yes, to do
on something.
Yeah.
So, for example, we're trying to go out and I just have to quickly do something and I'm going to make us late and Paul will shout at me, "Would you just quit fannying about in there, please?" Yeah. So
that was 13 more phrases that we don't get to use in the US living here that we're looking forward to using when we get back to the UK in a short while.
Or at least to be understood.
Yeah.
When we do use them. We're going to leave you with another one.
Bit of homework for you.
Because we're going to nip out in a minute, aren't we?
Yeah, we're nipping out. So what does that mean, to nip out?
But also, if we're out, we might find it's a bit nippy.
Ooh.
So what do you think those might mean? Make sure, please, that you subscribe so that you can find out what that means, and also follow us in the next. I don't know, we've got quite a few more.
There's a lot more.
We keep coming up with new ones, you see, not making them up, but like remembering ones that we haven't used for a while. So stick with us.
Yeah.
Please hit the like button. Share this with anybody you think might be helpful, might find this helpful. Learn English with him and her.
The wrong kind of English.
In the meantime,
take care. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Cheers.